Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. Today we're going to talk about these brand new LED lighted Halloween bags. And really, they could be used for anything. These are so cute and so much fun. And check this out, they are battery operated, which is really awesome, and they change colors. Now hopefully you guys can see this. I know it's a little bit bright, but I'll have the colors in the video later, but it changes between 7 colors and has 4 different flashing modes, and it's all USB rechargeable, which is awesome, and it comes with the cord you need to recharge it, and it's just a mini USB charger, and it will stay charged for about 8 hours once it's fully charged. So this is a perfect thing for Halloween to keep your kids safe. Check out that flashing mode, so fun. I don't know if it's going to pick up that one because of the frame rate, but this one's really fun. It cycles through all the colors, a little bit slower cycles, and I just think these are a lot of fun. I'm going to show you guys how to make this adorable Minnie Mouse, and we're going to use contour so that we can use the different colors for her bow and for her head. So let's go over to Design Space so we can get started on this awesome project. In Design Space, I want to show you guys how to use contour. So I have this Mickey head with the little mini bows loaded. So we're going to insert that image into our canvas. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so that we can see it easier. So we don't want this bow at all, and then we want this bow separately so that I can change the color on it. I made it smaller so that you guys can easily see what happens when we click on contour, but I'm going to duplicate this first because I want to keep one of them whole. I don't want to remove any parts off of it quite yet. So we'll select this one that's further to the left and hit contour, and I do that just so you guys can maybe kind of see what I'm doing. And we want to get rid of the bows because we don't need them. So you just click on them and it removes them from the picture. So all you're left with is your mouse head. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to get rid of one of the bows and the mouse head. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to select it and click contour. I don't want this bow. I want the more solid bow. So you just click on each item and it removes the item from the design. Big thing to remember when using contour is that if the pieces are touching, if they create one solid space, it's going to remove the whole thing and not just the part that you want. So we're going to do our Minnie Mouse here. We're going to do her in orange, and we're going to do her in purple, and then we're going to do her with a really cool, like a whitey gold dots on her bow. So we're going to have to create our own dots because this one didn't come with dots. Simple enough, so all we're going to do is just make a couple of dots and just place them on the bow. I just make a dot and duplicate, and all of Minnie's dots are the same size, so you can just sort of place them wherever you want. And if I want one that's kind of cut off, what I can do is put my dot here, select the bow, and just select slice. And remember, you can only slice 2 things at a time, but what that'll do is it's going to slice out this little part. But you want to make sure you go back in to the orange parts and weld them back together so that you don't have a cutout, because you don't need that. So we're just going to move this backwards. Oops, not too back. We're going to move that forward one more time. Oops, I'm clicking the wrong thing. We're going to move this guy forward. There we go. And move it forward one more time. We just want it in front of the mouse head. And then you're just going to do the same thing where you're just going to move all of your circles around to where you want them. And you can just kind of place them, like I said, you can place them wherever you want. You can slice them again if you want one that's kind of here and you don't want the whole thing. You just select it and you slice it, and you just get rid of this little piece that you don't need. And then you come over to your layers tab and you find the 2 orange pieces and you just weld them back together. And then all I'm going to do is pull her back down so that she's past all the dots, because I need to see the dots on the bow, and I see one of the circles for some reason was in a funny spot. So we're just going to put him back above her so we can sort of see what we're doing. And again, this is sort of, you can put however many dots you want. So we're just going to duplicate a couple more because I don't think that's quite enough dots. And you don't have to go crazy. You can just sort of do however many you want. You can put them wherever you want, size them however you want. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. Minnie's design isn't too crazy. You don't have to do too much with it, luckily. Well, we just want to, again, get rid of the little dot, and then we're going to select that and weld it again. The reason you're welding is so that you don't end up with the weird little spots. So I'm just going to move this again. And you can move them by actually dragging them on your screen. and they'll move, which is sort of cool. So you can either do that or you can click send to back. But a lot of times I like to just move them, and sometimes she moves and sometimes it doesn't. You got to look to where it's going to let you actually move it. I think that's pretty good. So one thing I want to do now is I want to make sure that I attach all of my circles and dots together, because you want to make sure, and actually now that I look at it, I think I want like 2 more dots, because I want to get a dot kind of down here, but I want like just the edge of it. And then I think I want to do 1 dot where I have like the full dot, maybe. Again, you can do whatever you want. This is just more like personal preference type of thing. But every time you move the bow and slice it, it's going to shove it to the front. It's very annoying. It drives me crazy. But it's a design space thing. So you'll just have to kind of play with it and figure out where you want it. I don't know if I want 1 more dot. I kind of feel like I do. I kind of feel like this spot needs a dot, but then if I put 1 there, I think it might look too full, so we might need to move like that dot over and like this dot over. Maybe we could cut a dot off at the top. I don't know. I don't want to cut a dot off there. And I already did 1 over there, so I think we'll just leave it like that. Because again, there's really no rhyme or reason to Minnie's dots. They're just sort of wherever. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to select all of our circles and all of our part circles. We're doing this so that it holds them in place, so that we don't have to try to mess with them. So we just attach them. You don't need to weld these, you just attach them. And I'm going to change their color just so I can kind of see what it's going to look like, because we're doing this in like a gray silvery color. The orange is a really sparkly orange, and then the purple is a super sparkly purple. Now what we want to do is put our name in here. So you could either do your child's name, or you could do like Minnie or Happy Halloween. But I think what we're going to do is Happy Halloween, or maybe Trick or Treat. You know what? Let's do Trick or Treat. So let's do trick, and then we'll do or. Oops, no slash. I'm going to hit enter because I want another line, and then Trick or Treat. And then I'm going to do this in like a really fun script font. So let's move this over. And I love like Christmas time. I use it all the time. So I'm going to try to avoid that one. And we'll do something a little bit different today. Let's see. This is honestly, I don't know if you guys are with me on this one, but like I think that picking the fonts might be the hardest part when it comes to doing these designs. Like picking the fonts is so super hard for me. Like I always go to like my good old standbys. Oh, like, okay, I like this one. I haven't used Birds of Paradise. So this is Calling Heart. So most of my fonts either come from 1001 Fonts or defont.com if they don't come on my computer. They're all free. This one might have actually been a Design Bundles font, but you could totally just Google it and you'll find it. It's super easy. It's called Calling Heart. So I'm going to letter space it down. I am using the new desktop beta version. The letter spacing is not any better than it was on the internet version. It's still super slow. It still like takes 143 years. And I just realized I kind of want the T in treat capitalized. Now that I look at it, I want that capitalized. And I'm going to center these so that they're not like all funky. I'm going to move them around. But since the letter spacing isn't really spacing the way I want it to, I'm going to ungroup them and just do them by hand. So what you can do is just grab your letter and then slide it over. The nice thing is you can hold the shift button and it'll hold your letter. So if you just gently move your hand, it won't move your letter. It'll keep it on that same plane so it won't mess up the bottoms of them. And I don't know how that just happened. You want to be conscious of how close you put like your E's and stuff, because if you put them too close, it's going to fill them in. So anything with like an open hole, like the A's, the E's, the O's, things like that, if you accidentally get them too close, it might fill the holes in. So it's just something to keep in mind. Now I'm going to move these T's over. I think they're a little too far over, even though they're supposed to be. And I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger because I kind of don't like how small it is. This is all, you guys, and this is like where a lot of people come in and go, oh, what font is that? And you can't find it. It's because people do stuff like this. You resize things, you move things around, like the or, I'm going to make a little bit bigger. I'm going to just kind of mess around with it, see what I like before I do anything else. And I just want to make sure that I like the way I have it laid out before I do anything. So I think that looks pretty okay. I think actually I might move this over just a little bit. I think I'm going to move this over just a little bit. I actually kind of think I might want that more like that. And then maybe move
this down. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So what we now do is select all of the text, and we're going to weld that so that there are no cut lines in it. And this is going to be orange like the bow, but I kind of want it to hang off of the Minnie Mouse, so I may actually undo my welding because I don't like that. I think I should have done it on top of Minnie. If you weld, you can't undo. You're just going to have to undo far enough back to where you welded it. So just keep that in mind if you do weld. You can undo it if you haven't saved yet. But I thought about it, and I kind of want it to like hang off of her a little bit. Like I sort of think I want it sort of more in this kind of an idea and less like perfect, I guess. I don't know. This is where like you guys can be super creative. And if you accidentally grab the wrong thing, just hit undo and it'll move it back to where you had it. And you can honestly, once you've made this, you can move it around like on your design if you don't like where you put it. Like I think that looks weird. Like the trick looks too big, the treat looks too small. So I'm going to weld each of my words individually for now just because it's going to make it easier for me to resize them, and then I can weld the whole thing together. These are just some little tips and tricks of ways that I've kind of learned to mess with this without having to constantly grab all of my letters. So I think I want this to kind of go here. I think I sort of want or. I don't know, the or is throwing me off. It feels like awkward. And I keep grabbing the mini head, which is kind of annoying. I don't know. This is sort of throwing me off. And I still feel like treat's kind of small. Maybe you just need to size it up. And you can always check your sizing against each other to see like how tall one is. So like that one's definitely taller because the T's bigger, but that's fine. I just sort of want it to just kind of evenly hang off of it. But I think if I do like that, I still just don't like where the or sits. Maybe my issue is the or and not so much the trick. Maybe the or needs to be smaller. I don't know. It just feels unbalanced. I don't like it. Again, guys, this is a lot of like what I end up doing on Design Space is like I just sit there and go, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. And then I eventually find something I like. Like, see, I like this a lot better. I think this looks cute. So we're going to go with this. Now the trick or treat part, I'm going to weld it together so that it's all spaced the way I have it. And it's going to be orange like her bow because I just want to pull a little bit of that orange in down to the bottom. So I'm going to make it the same orange so that it cuts on that same color. And then we aren't going to weld or attach that because I don't mind that we're going to have a little bit of space. That way it'll kind of save me some space. So now I need to size my whole design. So you want to make sure you select everything, which you can either click select all, which is right here, or you can draw a square around it, or you can select them on the layers tab, but I'm going to select all here. And then what I'm going to do is resize it. So I have like, I think if I make it, because I measured the bag, and it's pretty big. I mean, honestly, I think you could hold a lot in it. I don't think I want to make her much bigger than about 8 inches total. So what I'm going to do is find her widest spot, and I'm going to put her about at 7.9. I think that's a pretty good size, and that's going to size everything so that it's even. And you can kind of check about how big she's going to be, like as far as her height and her width, and I might just make her just a little bit bigger. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and click Make It. And I want to show you guys something as well. So let me get you guys over to the 651 website. On the 651 website, they have this really handy thing right here called the cutter settings. And if you click on that, and I'll link this below so you guys can easily access it. But if you click right here where it says to download the printable PDF file, it brings up the super handy dandy cutting and press settings for their different products. So we are using the Caesar, sorry, I was totally thinking, like, I can't, this is what happens when I try to read. We're going to use the Caesar glitter, and so it tells you that you want to cut it on custom glitter vinyl with more pressure, and then that's for your CRICUT. You have your silhouette settings, and then your brother's scan and cut settings. And if you look down here, it goes through all the different kinds. So you have the StyleTech Transparent, which we are not using this time. And then they have all the different kinds of HTV as well, which is really, really nice. And it tells you right up here the last time they updated it so that you know that it is the current version. But this one also tells you what to cut it on and then what pressing temp and pressure and time. So this is a really handy dandy tool to have, whether you print it out or you just look it up online. Either way, it's really, really nice. I find it very, very handy. So because we need to set this to a different setting than what's available on the front screen, we're going to need to search it. So I just type in the word glitter, and then I look and find glitter vinyl, and I select that, and then I go ahead and click more pressure, just from this little drop-down menu. So we've loaded our mat. We can go ahead and cut, and when we're done, I'm going to show you guys it weeding.
Listen, I know what y'all are thinking. Didn't I just see her weed that in orange glitter and then she did some orange buffalo plaid? This is where the fact that no one's perfect comes in. I did not double check this, and this is super transparent, and I don't know how well you guys can see this on film. Let's see if I can, but you can see the purple through the orange, so it's gonna look really weird. So I'm just gonna save this and use this for another project. I could have sliced the head, but I didn't want to. So I may not use the dots. I might use the dots. We'll see. But I really love the buffalo plaid with this sparkly purple, so I think it's going to look really cute regardless of which one we did. So the buffalo plaid is orange and black. It's one of the new patterns that is available. I think it's super fun. They have it in purple as well, plus like the regular like Christmas colors. So there's a bunch of different options with the buffalo plaid. I just think it's a fun pattern to work with, and it's just cute. So we're going to go ahead and put our little mouse down. We're going to start with our mouse head. Now remember, guys, these bags are plastic, so do not use HTV on them. You will ruin them. You will absolutely destroy them with HTV because they are plastic. And once you get these in your hand, you'll feel what I mean about them being plastic. They're literally like plastic, which I love because they're easy to clean, they're easy to work with, super easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and grab a squeegee because I forgot it. And we're going to squeegee our little mouse head down. Let me move the bag out of the way. I got all kinds of stuff in the way. Got quite a few bubbles in that guy, but he'll be all right. So we're just going to squeegee down. A lot of people call it burnishing. I hate that word. I think it's weird. And then we're going to get our bag. Now I did wipe this down with some alcohol, just real quick. Nothing crazy. Now the purple is also transparent, and I'll show you guys that here in 1 second. And hopefully you guys can see it. It's not as obvious with the darker color, but it is transparent. So you guys can see my hand through it. So that being said, I'm actually kind of excited to have this bottom layer be transparent. I think it'll be really cute. Now I have my bag still folded up a little bit. So I'm just going to place my mouse, and I'm going to use the folds to kind of help me get her at least relatively centered. And you can use the little buttons on the handle to help center as well, which is really nice. I love the fact that this is going to be such a fun bag, and I think these are going to sell incredibly well for you guys for Halloween because people are going to go nuts over these light up bags. And I love that they can be used for all sorts of things. You don't have to just use them for Halloween. Now, I know she looks wrinkled. She is not. She is not wrinkled. I promise. She is not wrinkled. So we're going to go ahead and make sure she is well pressed. And I'm going to reuse this transfer tape in just a second. I just need to trim this real quick. I always forget to trim this, so I got to trim that off. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull off our transfer tape. Sorry guys, I know I'm kind of working in a small area today. I've got a lot going on. We've done a lot of projects today, so we've got like a very little space. But I'm so excited. I wanted to make sure that you guys got to see this one. Again, I know she looks wrinkled. She is not. She does not have all these wrinkles in her. She does have some bubbling, but I can fix that. Because these bags are plastic, I will say that it is a little more difficult to get them to lay flat at all and to get them down without all the bubbles. but she's not as bubbly as she looks. She's definitely bubbly, and I will have to work on getting some of these bubbles out, which you can do a couple different ways. One, she'll work a lot of them out on her own as it sits, and you can put something in the bag to help it lay flat as it's kind of curing on here. And then two, you can do what I'm doing and push the bubbles out. And you just want to push them like this to the furthest, and hopefully you guys can see this, but you're going to push them out to like the closest edge. So like this bubble, he's pretty close to this edge, so I'm going to see if I can push him out. And any of the bubbles that you really can't push out, the small ones usually will work themselves out, but you can see that one pushed out really, really well. Super easy. So you're just going to have to use a little bit of time and patience. It would be really great if you could find like a piece of something heavy or like really flat to put in this bag, then rather than trying to do it with the seams. I just didn't have anything like a good size, but you can see the bubbles are super easy to work out, so I just want to make sure that I get as many of them out as possible. And I'm just going to open my bag real quick and just kind of give it a good oomph here. Because again, it is kind of wrinkly. You're going to want to sort of work out those wrinkles. I just didn't really have a lot of time. So I wanted to make sure that I got a video out for you guys in time for their release. Because I want you guys to be able to see all the fun things that you can do with these. But you can see the bubbles come out super easy. And I will say with this plastic, it makes it a little bit easier even. Because I feel like it's not going to, it doesn't fight you as much as some of like the other materials do when you have a bubble. But look at how easy this is to get these bubbles out. Super easy. It does take a little bit of elbow grease, but really pretty quick process. So let me finish getting the rest of these little bubbles out and some of these bigger ones, and we come back, we can place our bow. So we're ready to place our bow and our words. Now these are super easy, and again, the printed pattern vinyl, the adhesive is just like using regular vinyl, so it's nothing, you don't do anything special with it. It's super easy to use. You're just gonna use regular transfer tape, and I'm gonna get a little piece of that. And we're just going to use just regular old transfer tape, nothing crazy. This is just the medium tack. And that's why I like the printed pattern, because it is just 651 vinyl with just a pattern printed on it, so it's super easy to use. And this fall plaid is so stinking cute. So again, you just burnish it down onto your transfer tape. It doesn't take much with this product, which I like. And then we're going to take our Minnie. And she does have a few bubbles left, but they'll work their way out. And then we're just going to take our bow, and you want to make sure you have your bow the right direction. So these like kind of thinner parts go at the top. And then you're just going to kind of figure out where you want your bow to sit. Actually, I think that's a pretty good spot. And we're going to lay our bow down, and we're going to burnish it again. Make sure to press it down. And then I'm going to save this piece of transfer tape because I'm going to use it on our words. So there is that. And then we're going to get our trick or treat placed down as well. And again, remember, I just kind of welded this guy all together just so it didn't move around. I'm going to take a little piece of the edge tape here and borrow it, because it's not fully covering my T at the end. And you can totally do that if you need to piece together a little bit. Like if you've got a spot where maybe the tape's not covering real good, you can just kind of cut a piece off and just use that. And I love that you can do that. It's just so much easier. Just saves a lot of a headache. So I'm going to burnish that down. And we're going to go ahead and peel this off. It should come off pretty easy. Again, I like to peel a lot of times with, I'll do peel my backing from my vinyl versus the other way, just because I find it to be a little bit easier. Just depends on, you know, how the vinyl's working and if I'm having pretty good luck with it, but this stuff is so easy to use. So then you can just put your trick or treat wherever you want on your Minnie. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just however you want it to sit. Again, burnish it down. And like I said, these little bubbles that you see, they will work themselves out. They always do, which is nice. So don't fret if you see bubbles. The really big ones you'll want to work on getting rid of, but these little ones will work their own way out. And voila. we have an adorable Minnie Mouse. And you can see, I really wish you guys could see, and I hope you can see, that you can see through this purple vinyl, which I think is so fun. But I love how this came out. I think this came out really cute. So let me get you guys a good view of this, and I can show you all how it works. So this is the coolest thing. So watch, you can do red. It does blue, green. This would be like a purpley white color, aqua, yellowy green, a lighter blue. It flashes. It can cycle through all the colors. I absolutely love this bag. It is absolutely adorable. Look how fun that is. And with the little see-through glitter, let me see if I can pop it open a little bit for you. Without having anything in it right now, it should pop open though pretty easy. So you guys can get a good view. Like I said, this is a pretty large bag, and I love how easy it is to work with. But look at how fun that is with the kind of see-through vinyl. Some of the colors really pop on that. I love it. So this is a lot of really fun stuff. It is rechargeable with a USB, which is included. I'll get you guys that cord really quick so you can see it. It just comes with this little cord right here. Just a little micro USB plug, and you can just plug it into your computer or to your wall charger. You just connect this part. Helps if you connect it the right way. Just connect that part and plug it in. You'll let it charge for a little while. The charge holds, I believe, 8 hours once fully charged. I will double check that for you right now. Yes, should last about 8 hours once it's charged. You also you have the 4 flashing modes. You've got the 7 solid colors. This is just such a fun bag. I love it. This is great for your kids. It's going to be really safe for Halloween night. This is going to be an amazing seller. If you guys are going to offer these for sale, I think these are going to sell really, really well, especially because you can personalize them both to the child or to the child's costume, heck, even the parents. I also think these would be a really fun bag for adults if these are within the size limits of your stadium's allowable bag size. How cute would this be with like your favorite sports team logo on it, your name, whatever you're into? This would be super duper fun. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to hit that bell icon. That will let you know when I post a new video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy crafting.